Hey everybody, my name is Braden, having a good day, feeling good, hope everybody else is too. And what are you doing today? Well, today we're gonna learn about like Neptune and whatnot because this video has been in my recommended and I'm like, well, I actually kind of want to know a little bit, like maybe it'd be interesting and I guess just a refresher because like I learned about Neptune before and whatnot in school. Even like I mean I don't even know. Do they even talk about space that much in school? I feel like they don't. And we didn't have like an astrology class or anything. Like, are you supposed to have that? I feel like they have that in like Harry Potter, but they don't have it in school. I wonder why. Maybe at bigger schools, you know what I mean? Like in the cities and stuff, they do. Let me know if they do, because we didn't. Not like I would ever probably even want to take that. I'm just saying. Like, I wonder what would be in it, because I see some talking points in this video are going to be about history, like the history of Neptune. How did it get that name? It's named after a god. I'm sure everybody knows. Why am I watching this also? Because, like, I'm not doing much today. And here's what I think, because I'm unemployed, and it's like, and maybe this is so stupid because I was arguing with a family member over this, like, what it was. Because I was telling them, I'm like, yeah, they're like, what do you do all day? I was telling them, you know, because I don't really do much. Like today, what did I do? I cleaned my room, and then I also did the dishes, and then like I sweeped and stuff. But like maybe I just did all that because I'm having a girl over tonight, and I'm really excited and really happy, and she's so hot, and she's a cougar. Okay, but now I'm just like talking about it a little much. So the discussion with the family member was I was telling him how about like I'm a high school dropout, fun fact, and like I'm not in college or anything, but I'm saying like, you know, when I tune into my show first things first at 2 o'clock every day, you know what, I am kind of learning stuff, aren't I? Or when I'm watching a YouTube video during the day, like waiting to get the call for the job applications I've filled out, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm actually physically comparing this to, even though I am, to me being in college, but I'm telling them, I'm like, hey, it's pretty much like I'm taking a college class. Like this video is 16 minutes. Like if I watch a video for an hour, wouldn't it be the same as somebody going, this is like a college kid going to class for an hour? Even all the people I know in college don't even go to class, okay? But wouldn't it be the exact same? Like wouldn't me watching a basketball game kind of make me more of an analyst if I like actually like take time to pay attention and care about like what's going on? Wouldn't that like be a class to study if I'm, even though I'm just by myself? If I'm just watching 1 hour of a game, you know what I mean? Like like what's the difference besides those presidents? I mean presidents. I'll edit that out. Besides those professors, like they go to college for 4+ years. You know what I mean? And then they like just to teach college. You know what I mean? And I'm saying like the kids don't even go there. It's like when you just start college and you're like a freshman and you're going to the classes and they're showing you the 1 hour videos. That's what I'm saying. It's like, aren't I learning just as much as those people? And it's not, and I'm like not physically comparing it. It's just a little bit. Like, can't I just learn some lessons in some months that I'm unemployed? You know what I mean? And then he's like, no, it's not like that at all. It's like, it's a little bit like that. I'm like, you gotta be more open-minded because it is a little bit like that. Like, you are learning information, and Braden, I understand no place is calling you. And like, wow, what kind of videos are you watching? Like, what are you interested in? And then we talk about it because that's how stuff works, I think. But no, it wasn't like that. And there wasn't very much advice given. Let's get right into the video though. 3 minutes in.
Look up into a clear night sky with your naked eye, and what planets would you see? Technically, you would be able to see all of them at one time or another, all of them apart from Neptune. It is the smallest of the gas giants and also the furthest away, and it is a perplexing place. You would think a planet so far from the sun wouldn't have a dynamic atmosphere that exhibits ginormous storms and super fast winds, and yet it does. So why is this planet as interesting as it is? I'm Alex McColgan and you're watching Astrum, and today we're going to delve
You know what I think should be a planet? Pluto. Let me know if y'all think so too. That's like hasn't been a planet since before I was born, to be honest.
At the beginning.
But I still see it as that.
Neptune is
even
the
not.
only
Or I
planet
see it as a
found
dwarf planet, so
through
it's like the 9th.
mathematical
Why don't we just throw
prediction.
it back in there?
You see, when Uranus was discovered and
Because like when you think about it, we only have 8 planets.
They noticed that Uranus
Really?
wasn't
Like
following
why?
their
I want 9.
models.
Or wait,
From
maybe
the
we...
perturbed
Yeah, I think
orbit
that's
of
right.
Uranus,
What I'm saying.
Urban Le
Oh,
Verrier
that'd be
in
embarrassing though, right? If
1846
you ever get something
concluded that there
wrong.
must be another undiscovered planet, and he predicted where it should be. And remarkably, Johann Galle was able to find it only a degree away from the predicted point. Triton, Neptune's biggest moon, was discovered a few days later. But
That's
since
cool. That
then,
must have been cool to
Neptune
see.
has been poorly understood.
Shit, that place got a
as
moon
its
too?
distance from Earth and very
That's how
small
it
in
was.
size meant it couldn't be studied from ground-based telescopes very easily. It wasn't until 1989, when Voyager 2 arrived, that huge amounts of information about the planet became available. Suddenly, we could see what the planet looked like, confirmed that it had planetary rings, and discovered a lot of previously unknown moons. But let's get to today. What do we know about this planet now? Since Pluto's demotion to not a planet status, Neptune is the
Just
8th
talking about
and
that shit.
furthest planet from the Sun. It orbits at 30 astronomical units from the Sun on average, which means it's 30 times further than the Earth's orbit from the Sun. 30 astronomical units, in other words, is 4.5 billion kilometers. And from that, you can see why it would take a space probe, using current technology, 13 years to reach Neptune. 4.5 billion kilometers is a considerable distance. Because of this long orbit, it takes a huge 165 years to orbit the Sun once, which means we've only seen one Neptunian year since its discovery.
Dang.
This distance from the Sun means the average temperature in Neptune's atmosphere
That
is
must
very
take a while.
minus 201 degrees
What do I
Celsius.
say?
Its axial tilt is 28 degrees, meaning it's similar to Earth and Mars, which have 23 degrees and 25 degrees respectively. This means it has seasons similar to Earth and Mars too, the big difference being these 4 seasons last 40 Earth years each. At this moment in time, the Southern Hemisphere
Could you
is
imagine?
experiencing spring. During this spring, the Southern Hemisphere receives more sunlight.
Yeah, I live during the summer. Like, I don't know. Like, wouldn't that be?
Quite noticeable.
Well, I've never
Which is
experienced the
strange,
winter, but I
because you
hear
would
they
have thought that
suck.
because the sun is 900
Well, I mean,
times
people
thinner
probably
on
say
Neptune
that
than
in real
on
life.
Earth,
I just mean
from that
in
distance,
this.
it wouldn't make much of an impact. But even if it is only
One
a
time
small
in wind
impact,
class,
it
if you know what that
makes an
is,
impact
we
nonetheless.
had
And the
to
increased sunlight levels
to
in the
write
southern
down
hemisphere
a story.
warmed up by
We pretty
about
much had to
10
copy
degrees
The
Celsius
Martian,
compared to the
or like
rest of
to write
the
a story
planet.
about planets, and I wrote
This
mine about Pluto.
comparably higher temperature
crap, though.
releases frozen methane into the stratosphere, causing its increased brightness, whereas elsewhere on the planet, it remains frozen and stays deeper in the troposphere.
Like we
Just
were
a quick
copying the Martian
recap of
movie.
the spheres of a
Did I
planet.
say that?
The troposphere is the lowest atmospheric level, followed by the stratosphere. Above those layers are the mesosphere, the thermosphere.
Okay, sorry I wasn't
and
really
the
listening. He
exosphere.
says
But
Neptune
that's
has
a
a
very interesting
surface,
topic
though.
in itself. We'll save it for another video. If you look at the weather on Neptune, it actually has the
walk on it?
fastest wind speed of
That's
any
what I'm
planet,
wondering.
with wind
Just
speeds
blue
blowing
clouded
westward on the equator,
coolness.
reaching a staggering 2,160 kilometers per hour, nearly a supersonic flow. And interestingly, most winds travel retrograde to the rotation of the planet. Bands are also formed on the planet, as well as colossal storms. When Voyager 2 passed by the planet in 1989, it saw the Great Dark Spot, a storm about the size of Earth passing through its atmosphere. Voyager also saw
Damn,
a small storm known as
seriously?
Small Dark
The
Spot,
size of
south
Earth?
of its big sibling.
That's
As Voyager
pretty
2
immense to
approached
think
Neptune,
about.
this smaller
Not
storm
even gonna
changed
lie.
its shade from dark
If he's
to
saying
light.
that.
When Hubble was launched, astronomers were curious to see the fate of these storms, to see if they were a permanent feature like Jupiter's Great Red Spot. But when Hubble was pointed at Neptune in 1999, these storms had completely disappeared, and storms have come and gone ever since. Giant, bright,
That's pretty interesting.
high-altitude
I wonder,
clouds
like, why or
also
how.
come and go.
Or like,
But
I don't know,
why
maybe
then
there's like their own
doesn't
little
Uranus,
civilization going
which
on
is
over there. We
very
don't even know
similar
about
in
it.
composition and
Wouldn't that be
size to
cool? Like they
Neptune,
live inside the clouds or
also have
whatnot.
such a blustery atmosphere? Don't get me wrong, wind speeds on Uranus are fast too, but it doesn't compete with Neptune at only 900 kilometers per hour. Can all this only be due to interactions with the sun and its seasons? Something else must be at play here to explain the extremes in weather. The answer may lie deep beneath Neptune's surface. I mentioned that Neptune is the furthest planet from the sun, so you would have thought it's also the coldest. But actually, Uranus is the coldest planet in our solar system. Neptune radiates heat from within, whereas Uranus
Whoa,
radiates hardly
so
any
interesting.
excess heat at all. This could be because a large Earth-sized body crashed into Uranus billions of years ago, which depleted all of its primordial heat. Astronomers now theorize that the more active weather on Neptune might be due, in part, to this higher internal heat. What is Neptune actually made of then? Its internal structure and atmosphere is thought to be very similar to Uranus. Its atmosphere is composed of mainly 80% hydrogen and then 19% helium, with very small amounts of methane.
Is it like a big ball in the sky up there, or is it like dust and whatnot, or I mean like clouds? You know what I mean?
Again, like Uranus.
Like, did they just see like a big blue splotch, or did they see a big blue circle?
Methane ices surrounding the core. And where the core and the mantle meet,
because a big blue splotch would be like kind of way cooler and way scarier when you think about it. Or like just unexpected. I don't know. A ball would look so unnatural though, or like, I mean, too natural. Like, why is that here? Why is that in space? Why was that naturally formed? I guess it makes sense to me naturally.
Diamonds raining down through the mantle like hailstones.
How do I talk?
This is just a theory though, as technology has only recently started to recreate such pressures. Around the core of Neptune, it's thought to be 7 million bar, or 700 gigapascals, which is about 7 million times the pressure of Earth's atmosphere at the surface. Even the two ice giants' magnetospheres share similarities. Neptune's magnetic field is offset 47 degrees relative to its rotational axis. When Voyager 2 discovered this about Uranus, the first theory was that it had something to do with its unusual axial tilt. But then it found the same thing out about Neptune, which has a more normal axial tilt. So the current theory is that the magnetic field is either not generated in the core, but rather by an electrically conducting liquid mantle, or that the mantle deflects the magnetic field from the core, which gives it this weird offset in relation to its rotational axis. Every planet in the solar system hasn't actually got a perfectly aligned magnetic field. Even Earth's magnetic north is different from where the North Pole actually is.
My favorite number 11. Isn't that crazy how it's just seen so much? I mean, like, I see it so much. No, because like the Earth could be off at any amount of degree, and it's my favorite number. Like, can we all recognize that right now and what's going on?
Not getting as charge from the sun, and because of the direction of the magnetosphere,
I actually see it a lot. You know what I mean? Like angel numbers or not? I don't believe in that at all. But like, what the hell?
Earth gets these too, but they are not visible, and you need scientific instruments to know that they are there. They could be stretching across the whole sky without you actually knowing about it. Another difference with the star arcs of Neptune is that they are not only found around the poles, but rather are around the mid-latitudes of the planet. Zooming out from Neptune a bit, we come to its ring system. Like all other gas giants, Neptune
completely forgot it had rings, to be honest.
Although it is
I was thinking Uranus had rings.
As it is not as dense and is extremely dark in color. If you have these rings
maybe it
against
doesn't,
the black
that's why
backdrop of space,
I don't know,
and also have them be this far away from the sun, then they are very hard to see. But there are 5 known rings in all, and they are named after people involved in the discovery and research of Neptune. The innermost
That's pretty
is
cool.
the Gale ring, which is very faint and very wide at 2,000 kilometers. Next is the first bright ring, Le Verrier. Although it's bright, it's only 113 kilometers wide. Next, and connected, is the Lasso ring, a very faint band 4,000 kilometers across. On the edge of this ring is the Arago ring. It is slightly brighter than the Lasso ring and less than 100 kilometers wide. Lastly is the outermost and the most researched ring, the Adams ring. It is only 35 kilometers wide, but is one of the brightest rings. It is particularly interesting as it is slightly inclined and has bright arcs in it. These arcs have been quite stable since they were discovered in 1980, but usually planetary rings are uniform throughout. These arcs must be material clumping and clustering up within the ring, but the reason for this is currently unknown. Lastly, I want to talk about the moons. Neptune has 14 known moons.
It's interesting to hear. I don't fucking know what it really means. So like,
Greek mythology.
Oh, those are all cool names. Like Hippocamp, what the fuck? Who named a moon that?
Is the moon Triton, which actually contains
that's cool. You know what I mean? I wish I could name one.
Neptune's moons put together. I personally think
that's all.
It is
Leave
one
it
of
at
the
that.
prettiest
I wish I could
moons in
get
our
a moon
solar
for a
system.
girl.
as it has
or like
amazing
woman, or
patterns
like,
and is burnt orange color.
I
What is
meant
most
obviously.
interesting about Triton is the
Or
fact
like
it
anybody
orbits
is what I
in
want to say.
retrograde, and also at an inclination to Neptune's rotation,
Or not even,
which
like I don't think
implies
people should
it
really
is
own moons,
probably
because then
a
everybody
captured
will own a moon.
object,
And then
and
we,
not something
like,
that was
there's not
formed
enough like that.
alongside the planet. Triton might be the cause of the rings of Neptune, as it would have disrupted the orbits of moons, possibly causing them to collide and break up into what is now the rubble of the rings. Triton is even bigger than Pluto, and also has a tenuous atmosphere. Voyager 2 even saw faint clouds on its flyby of the moon. The next biggest moon is Proteus, which is a little irregular in its shape. Normally we only see this on smaller objects like asteroids, but Proteus is actually bigger, at 400 kilometers across, than the spherical moon of Saturn, Mimas. Why it is not a sphere is explained by past collisions of things hitting the moon, leaving these massive craters which you see. The inner regular moons orbit around the rings, some acting as shepherd moons. The outer irregular moons are all likely captured moons. Some of the irregular moons orbit prograde and others retrograde. The outermost moons of Neptune are Samathe and Netho, and are the furthest out satellite of any planet that we know of to date. They take a massive 25 years to orbit Neptune only once. This is because Neptune has a very large hill sphere. The hill sphere being the sphere in which the
gonna take a
planet's
while,
gravity
huh?
overcomes the gravity of the Sun. It has such a large hill sphere because it's already so far from the Sun. The Sun's gravity has less of an influence around Neptune than at the biggest planet, Jupiter. Well, thank you for watching.
We
Did
have
you learn
other
something
dwarf
interesting
planets.
about Neptune today?
Maybe that's what I
What
should check out
mysteries
next.
would you like to see solved? We're still working our way through remastering the planets in our solar system series. What planet would you like to see us do next? Let us know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.
Might have to check out those 3 dwarf planets at the end there. Like, I knew they existed though. I think that's... I mean, was that a good video? I think so. I think Astrum did a good job, and totally would stay tuned again. Hope everybody enjoyed watching. This was good, like, learning about planets and whatnot. Hope everybody has a nice day or night, and you're being really, like, good to people you care about, and you're caring about people you should, and let me know what you thought about Neptune, or if you cared, or if, like, if you agree with me on some of the points I said earlier, because, like, life is confusing and hard.